Hello, everybody. Hello, loves. Here we are again, the studio, Helene Gross in Texas and Rainer Irgang in Lillehammer.
Hello.
And today we're going to speak about illusion.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like to start out by saying, guys, I have become very confused in what is true and what is not true. And I think today we're going to be talking about it because what we see is maybe an illusion. And we're going to look at it as from our perspectives. So today we want to talk about maybe clones, maybe the news that we are being shown is not what we see. It is, there's a lot of delusion as well. Okay, Rainer, please, go ahead.
Well, if people misunderstood you now, we're not talking about clowns, but clones. And it seemed that we, maybe too many, that we are very far out there.
Yeah.
Well, why not go there? Because the rumors are in the world already that we have clones. And if you look back a few decades ago, the first sheep clone was made. Dolly, you remember?
Definitely remember, yes. Yeah.
So the science was a long time, and how far do you think they came with that? So it is absolutely possible. It is said that before all the important politicians had doubles, but they made it even better now. Maybe they have clones. Every political figure has clones. And what made me stunned when I got sources, I can't confirm if it's true or not, but in a way it makes sense that the world is actually crowded with clones. Because it makes sense to me in a way when you look at several kinds of protesters, the way they behave. And if you ask or try to discuss with them, they can't come up with any kind of argument. And the way they're acting, look in their eyes, you see they have not any brain. They don't know what to talk about. They just know how to make trouble.
Yes, because
and when you have to do with these people, you know, they can irritate you terribly. And this is actually their use. This is why they are for, to create chaos.
And the interesting part is that there are, you know, we're always talking about AI and we're talking about a lot of other things. Artificial intelligence, they have come pretty far. And the clones that we believe we are seeing come in. I mean, some of your amazing Hollywood actors and actresses and some of the people that you think are amazing, they suddenly change. Same thing with the music industry. They suddenly change. It's like, do you have to sell your soul to become a mega star? Seems like it. And then you become a clone. It's scary to think of it. And you know, when I go outside into the city right now, I'm looking, are you a clone or are you real? But I have a story about the time when I worked up in DC. I was working inside the political scene. I'm not going to go in exactly what it was, but I was supposed to teach a whole group of CIA people how to go in and actually search on the search engines that I was helping them open up to. And I remember opening my heart and saying, hey, welcome, you know, this is what we're going to do. And I had just nada, nothing, no emotion, no speaking, just complete cutoff from real human interaction. And I remember that one time, this is about 15 years ago. And there's something not right here. And me as able to see, I could also see that I couldn't see their being. Maybe I already was then at that time. I don't know. This is just speculation. Maybe they were clones already in that. I don't know.
Absolutely possible. You know, many people are talking about these arrests which are happening behind the scenes. And many claim that well-known people got already executed.
Yes.
But they have clones in place. Then I thought to myself, but why? now I think about it, it makes actually sense, because let's say a very famous person has been executed for treason or something like that. What would the people do who have these people as their idols? They would go nuts. They would go crazy.
Yeah.
So you have to calm them down and maybe replace them with clones.
Wow. And how long do the clones live? Because, you know, I remember when Trump said one thing. He said when Pence wasn't in office, and I remember telling some of my friends, I wonder if Pence is the real deal. And then that one day he says, well, people are asking, where is Vice President Pence? He said, oh, he's long gone on some kind of he's traveling.
A faraway place, yeah.
Yeah, faraway place. Yeah, faraway place. That's exactly what he said. And I was thinking, that was odd. That's an odd thing to say. And then in a matter of no time, he was back. Or was he?
Or was he? Yes.
That's the question.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. First I have to wrap my head around everything that is happening in this world, right? All these amazing and crazy and horrible things that are happening. The child molestation and all of that. The COVID that we now are seeing was a big hoax, right? A lot of different things that we have to wrap our heads around. And now this, I'm like, when do we get to rest? When do we go into our paradise?
I think it could happen quite soon. I just got a picture in my head while you were talking about these clones. If somebody can reproduce another person and transfer whatever is in their brain into this clone, they can do that. But they can't transmute or to put your soul into the other body. That is impossible. And this is why these persons, these clones, have no empathy and are only no emotion, nothing, no feelings, nothing. But then it came to mind, these energies which are coming in, these clones can't handle it. We will very soon see more and more of these clones must break down because they can't handle the higher frequencies.
I love that. Oh, I love that. Yes, thank you. I mean, because I was listening to and I listen to a lot of things. I go down the rabbit hole. I'm sure many of you also do that. You're going down the rabbit hole trying to find these realities, the real stuff, what's really going on. But anyway, and I heard something about Clinton. Hillary. She was going in. She supposedly died and went to her daughter. Now this could be completely hearsay. I mean, I know I have gotten it somewhere from, but I can't tell you exactly where. But let's hypothesize here. She went in to her daughter's place where they have this, where they can revive her. And then a part of her went to Greenland. Now, why would she go to Greenland? To be frozen? So that they might have something else that can give her life again? I don't know. It was just very, very odd. It was an odd story, and it's in the back of my mind, and I'm wondering, how much can we really believe? Well, who is, and so my question is, when they bring so-called Hillary in, is it her or is it her clone they're bringing in? And I'm like, how do you know the difference?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they tried to revive her.
Yeah.
And didn't succeed. Had to make a clone. Were maybe a little bit late in that, so they had to freeze her down to transport her mind over to the clone or whatever. I'm not sure. But I'm quite sure that there's not only a clone of her, but there are also doubles of her out there.
Yeah.
So...
and we did hear that as children, that we had at least a double in the world. I remember hearing that as a very young one, hearing that there are several of myself out there, and I'm thinking, really? Yeah, and so I'm thinking, we could have several of ourselves out there. I don't know if that is something that makes me feel good, but I know that I have gone to different countries and people come up to me and say, oh, I thought you were, so-and-so. And I'm like, no. She said, well, you look exactly alike. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Many people have several fractions of a soul. More than only one. A tiny bit of one soul and the next soul. The high masters, what they say, they have up to 7, 8 or 9 souls combined into one. That makes them very special and very wise. So what we see in these people today, which are with a soul, but only a fraction of a soul, these people are mostly psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. And they don't even know that they have only a fraction of a soul. They try to find their happiness in power, in cruelty, and in dominance, because they're looking for their other parts, but they don't know about it. And you can't tell them that they have only a fraction of a soul.
That's interesting. And then there are those people that have a huge burden on their shoulders. I once worked with one that had been in the military. He had PTSD, but he had been in the military. And he asked me for help because he just felt that he was seeing visions of all the wars, not just this war here, and I'm talking about like maybe 10 years ago, the Afghanistan, the Iraq, the Iran, but also World War II, World War I, and he was going way back into, and I was thinking about, so I worked with him, and I brought on another friend of mine, and we worked together, and he, in this session, he more or less let go of so many souls that were hanging on to him. So we did a regression session with him, right? And we did a soul retrieval, but the problem is we had to let go of many souls. And in that session, I actually had to hold on and just keep the light, because there were so many dark souls that had been in these wars where he had been like commanders, and all the people that have died under him, those souls were holding on to him. And we had to let these souls go. There are thousands of them. It was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. But, well, I've experienced a lot of crazy things, but that was one of them anyway. But the interesting part was when he came out of the hypnosis, when he came out of the trance, he like, oh, I can breathe. I can see the light. Because he was holding on all of these souls that had died under his regimens and he had been a person of high stature in these different armies or in these different military capacities, right? So he had a lot of people and they were able to go home. But you know what the interesting part, the fractioned souls actually went to Mars. I followed them to Mars. That's why I believe that's why they call it the red planet. Well, I don't know, but it just looked so similar, like all the fraction souls would go to Mars, which was crazy. And a whole bunch of souls that came out of the Pentagon as well. It just disappeared. The Pentagon did one of those warps. And I know for many people, this probably sounds crazy, but okay, I deal with the interdimensional, happenings, but this was I'll never forget that. It was like we were in a completely different world, which we were, releasing all these souls that needed to go back to the light or go back to wow.
Yeah.
But
it's very interesting to see what confuses you today will be very, very clear in a day or two, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
It doesn't scare me at all, because I'm just so sure within myself that everything will turn out okay. But it depends on us. It depends on us. Like you said before, that you look at people and you don't know, are you a clone or are you real? Alone the question will give some vibes within you, which activates a new knowledge in you, where you will decide very easily who is who.
Yeah, and that is true. And I usually know this as well. But when you sit home and you have gotten some of this news, when I do my meditations in the morning, I get a lot of information, and then I go out into the internet because they tell me now go out and look, and then I go out and look, and I'm like, I'm getting all that information.
Yeah.
And I have to say that that right when you get that information, you can be a little, you know, taken aback. Like, what is real, what is not real? I mean, how can we look at the world? But again, if we connect with ourselves and are aligned, then, you know, then we will be fine. But yeah, no, a lot of things don't make sense out there.
Not at all. You know, there was somebody who sent me a picture over the phone, a kind of a movie actually, and it was strange. It was broad daylight, and the being was climbing up, and it was a kind of a church, you know, with a onion kind of roof. It was climbing up and had big wings. And then the person turned around, the being, and it shaped like an animal head with horns, climbing up on the top of this roof, on the cross, which was on top of the cross, spread its wings, stood like this for a moment, and then flew off. And I wrote back, what the heck was this? And the woman said, most probably a portal opened, and somebody got lost in there, and came up in our dimensions. This brings me back to CERN as well. We heard about CERN, you know, this hadron collider.
Yeah.
Where they supposedly have found the boson Higgs. This is just bogus, the whole thing. They are trying to manipulate the atmosphere, trying to open portholes as well. But the point is, this does not work anymore. It's every time breaking down when they're trying to do it. But these portholes are appearing more or less naturally, while the Earth is going through the fourth dimension. So people would see, I'm sure we will find more and more videos on YouTube sooner or later about things like this.
Well, there's even the thought of, remember that movie in the 70s, The Lost Horizon? Did you ever see that movie?
I'm not sure.
It was about Shangri-La.
Huh?
Okay, anyway, The Lost Horizon, you can look at it in YouTube. It's an old movie. Do the 70s. There's a 60s version, black and white, but do the 70s version. That, you know, it has color in it, and it has Michael York in it, and it's actually a really good movie. But the other day I saw an illustration of of the Earth that has that we have like a layer, and inside is the actual Shangri-La.
Okay.
In other words, inside there's a central sun.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this reminds me of my time when I was working with Saima in India. Saima from India, where she always talked about the central sun. And I always thought the central sun was beyond our sun. There was another central sun. But then they're showing me this picture. I can send it to you, Reiner. This picture was showing the central sun inside of Mother Earth. So what I'm looking at it like, okay, so is that, wow, that's why, if you see the movie, please go watch the movie, The Lost Horizon. It's on YouTube, you can get it for free. It's an old movie, so I guess that's why they get it for free, but it's very important to see because you will then understand the portals. I've always been drawn to go to Tibet because of the portals. And I've always known that if I have the frequency, the high frequency, and I go to Tibet, I'm able to be opened up to those portals and go through them. Now, I've opened up my 24 portals. That's a long story. But if you're able to go through that, then you will go to a place where it's always sunny and always the temperature is wonderful and people don't age. I don't know if that is, if that is a story or if that is real, because now when I'm seeing a person that actually got in there and has drawn how it looks, I'm like, well, what about the underground, cities that we've heard of here recently? What about the underground cities? They're going, many stories down. How deep is that actually? How deep is the Earth's crust? Is the center actually a little paradise?
I think so, because the Earth's crust is about almost 1,800 kilometers thick. Underneath there are continents. There is life. There is what they call the inner earth.
Yeah.
And what you say about the central sun, there is a central sun down there. I read it at least, and it makes sense to me, you know. The people do age, but it takes just so much longer.
Yeah.
These people, they live in the fifth dimension already, and they age. They're different species. The humanoid species, they live about 350 to 400 years. Reptiles down there, the good ones, they live up to 1,000 years. So they have, under each continent, there are the continents underneath it. And under Europe, there's a place which is called Endavin. Endavin.
Okay.
And this is what they call this place. And it's kind of a paradise. And these people are in contact with people on the earth. And even with governments.
Yes, and that is the thing that I'm always wondering. So when I went to Sedona, which for people that know about Sedona know what a holy place, what a wonderful place it is, what a amazing place. And I connected with the Bell Mountain's essence, female version here. And I connected with her and asked her if it was okay for me to walk on Bell Mountain and, you know, hike up. And she said, yes, as long as you come back. In other words, as long as I continue. I mean, because I was asking, she really, you know, invited me in. But I remember that conversation was very different than anything I'd ever experienced, because it was so, as if I was speaking with a presence that was so high in frequency. And I knew she was in the bottom, not like on where I was, really far down in the earth. I was speaking with her, like it was like she took me down there. Yeah. So it's interesting that you say that, because, and then when I saw the picture, it was making sense. And now the fact that Trump wants to buy part of Greenland, there's a portal in the Arctic, and there's a portal in the Antarctic, so that makes sense as well. You know, everything is just, things are just starting to make sense, even though right now they don't completely. You know?
Well, you know, as I said, we are moving through the fourth dimension, and all the sickness is coming up for everybody to see. If we just open our eyes, if we are willing to look at it.
Yeah.
We will also see the clones, and we will, after a short while, be able to distinguish who is who, and we will see that. Just look at the eyes. The eyes, it says, are the windows to your soul. Yeah. But look at people which have dead eyes. You don't see anything. No emotions, no heart, no empathy, absolutely nothing. No. There you can be quite sure that this is not a person. This is not a human being.
Yeah, that is true. And that is something that I you know, and that is something that I really enjoy when I speak to someone. I can really see them. I sometimes can see their lives, and I sometimes can see different dimensional places they have been, you know, when I look into the eyes. But as you say, sometimes I can't see anything, and then I know that I have to watch out what I'm saying or doing with my energy, you know.
You know what is interesting? When you see people which are suddenly losing the concept of their speech.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to talk about anymore. Yeah. Just came up a picture in my head. Let's say you get cloned. Your brain is transferred over to the clone. You have every knowledge from your brain you have inside you. But where comes the new knowledge from? Because when you get an idea, the idea does not come from the brain. It comes from outside. You form it in the brain. Do clones have this capability? I don't think so.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. But I also hear that the clones do not live that long. But I don't know. Do you know how long they might live?
I don't know. I can't imagine that they live long at all, because they have to create them faster and faster and faster to like say one president has about 5, 6, or even 10 clones.
Yeah. Because
they will break down. And I just, well, I'm postulating something, but it is my belief And within me, I just know it, that it is so, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, they will break down because of the energy level which is here now. So clones wouldn't be the smartest thing for the future, except for disrupting the system in a brutal way and don't have any arguments, can't discuss nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
I think that this is very important that we are speaking about this, even though, you know, there's a lot of speculation in what we're saying because we don't know actually everything, right? But we're looking at it with an open mind, and, you know, and I think that everybody should do that as well. And if you have any information that we haven't spoken about, please, you know, leave it in the comments below. But I would like also to do one thing, and that is, whatever happens out there, whatever is happening out there, go into yourself and feel how you feel, because I feel many times that we're looking all out there, what's happening, what's the next thing, and wake up in the mornings and get on the line and sometimes just take a couple of breaths and don't even go online. I mean, literally, because you need it for your own sanity and get your own alignment. Be aligned, go out in nature, do something in nature, align yourself, and then you might look at it, but don't do that the first thing in the morning. I beg you, because and if you want to have the real news, turn off the mainstream media. Please start turning it off. You're not going to get any new. You are getting a play. We were talking about clones or clowns. Those are clowns that you're seeing in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
That's totally clowns. That is complete fiction. I mean, people that I know that have ended up in the mainstream media, and they're telling me the truth, and then I see what the mainstream media has turned it around to become. Maybe there's like 5% of truth in it. The rest is they spin it off because they have to sell, you know, viewers. They have to continue this narrative, you know. So
yeah,
be careful.
The narrative of the devil, you know, it's to deceive people, to switch everything around.
Yes.
And the lies become the truth, and the truth become lies, you know, in their eyes. People should, as you say, in the morning, have maybe their breakfast and go for a walk. And ask themselves the question. Ask, and then wait how you resonate. Wait what your inner voice tells you. Wait what kind of ideas you get in your head, and then follow them. You will get a real answer, and a good one.
And that is something that I would say too, and that is, when you wake up in the mornings, if you have a little time to take a couple of breaths and just allow yourself to be, not having to think. I do my morning meditations, but allow yourself to be with you. And like you say too, go out and have a walk. Yes. But I've done some times where I have just said to myself, today I'm going to be doing everything connected to the above. In other words, I'm going to live in the space of my divinity with everything I do. And when I do that, things appear, thoughts come in my mind that I can do, that can help humanity, or thoughts come in my mind that I can achieve things easily because I am completely in alignment. So when Rainer says that, it's very good. Yes, take those walks and just breathe and just go in within yourselves, because that is going to help you get to where you need to get in this life, because you're going to be getting ideas and thoughts. And sometimes if you sit under a beautiful old tree, you might even get healed, because that's what they do. They're old, very, very ancient, beautiful creatures. And people say, what do you mean creature? I said, well, they are the plant kingdom. Sit under a tree. Let the tree take care of you for a while. Let the tree take some of your nervousness, you know, because that is, a lot of people right now are going around with a lot of nervous energy because we don't know where we are going, many of us, and most of us, because every step we take is new. So I think we should have to get used to the fact that everything is going to be different than what it was before the pandemic.
Very different indeed. It's going to be a beautiful time, but it can be a little bumpy, as I always said. But there is another thing which concerns me a little bit. We have been living in the satanic principle for 5,500 years. Now we are getting out of it. But where are we going into? Because if these negative elites realize that they lost, what could be their next step?
Exactly.
To give us a better world, to let us free in a way, but still have a collective where we are controlled. But still we are freer within this control. It could be that we go from one collective into a new collective, from the Satanism into the Luciferian light, which is blinding you. This is why you need gurus all over to tell you how to live. And this is what many New Agers say, this will be the golden age, the 1,000 years of a golden age. Maybe we have to go through it, which is actually not a bad thing, because even there you can go into the 5th dimension, because what is happening there is not all negative, but it gives us a chance to learn. Because the next higher thing would be that we go into the Vedic principle, and Vedic means pure knowledge. There are these fractions are not fighting, but they are working in a way who is really waking up. Then we can do it right now, or do we have to go through the other instance first?
That's interesting that you say that, because when I worked with Saima, who I still have as a mentor, even though she says I'm not your mentor, you are your own master. But when I worked with her, and she still comes and works with me in my meditations every morning, but she said that the reason why I'm here, she says, I just came here to spread love, just like Jesus did. I have no agenda. My only agenda is to enlighten each one of you. And actually the way to enlighten is by self-empowerment. Now, and for a while when I was writing my book, I had all these masters sitting around me. And the interesting part was they were sitting around me, and one day they all told me, you do not need us. I was like, what do you mean? Jesus, Buddha, Yogananda, all these amazing, beautiful light beings. He said, no, you do not need us. You are a light being yourself. And because of that, and because you can see in this dimension, you're seeing beyond the dimensions, you don't need to look up to anyone. We will cease to exist if you find the divinity within. Because then you do not need anybody outside. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, here in India, if I would say that right now and I would be sitting in the middle of India, you know how many gods they have there?
Yeah.
They would look at me as Satan, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But that is what we are realizing. If we realize our own divinity, and you're right, Rainer, if we realize our own divinity, we don't need anybody. We have our own empowerment. It's within us. It's in our hearts.
Besides, I think we mentioned it before in one of our videos that our mind, we are so powerful, we are the most powerful beings in our galaxy, even in our universe. But in a book I read from people in Inner Earth who told somebody that there is, beside the matrix, there is another grid around the world, which is made by the good guys to keep us in. Because if we realize how powerful we are in our minds, but we are not mature enough in our consciousness, we could destroy galaxies.
Okay, that is true. Because I know that when I was in a certain vibration while I was writing my book, I was being told right then, Helene, do not think if you can think of your life, you can be a manifester like you would not believe. If you can think only positive in your life and just focus on that. But if there's one negative thought coming in, you can totally destroy everything. So do you understand why there's a little bit of a delay between what you're thinking and things are happening? But that's what we're going into. We're going into a place where we're going to be able to manifest by our thoughts. But like you say, if we have negative thoughts, we can destroy a lot. So I can kind of get it. Kind of irritates me though. Come on, we should be further than that, you know?
Yeah. But I think this veil is mostly lifted already, because these other species were saying as well that they are not that powerful that we humans are here on Earth.
Yeah.
So they were afraid of us. That's why they did it. And now they lifted it to see what happened. And now they know they don't need to put it back.
That book I would like to read.
Yeah, it's I have forgot. Actually, I'm going to send you a link. The first book came out in English out now. So,
okay, yes.
But you know, it makes actually a lot of sense that we are very powerful beings. Didn't Jesus say himself to the people, "What I can do, you can, and much more"?
Yes, he did. And when I was channeling him too through the book as well, he was also saying that I came here to teach you love, not the love, the needy love, but the universal, the God love, the love of all, right?
Yeah.
Because you are all one. So if you love all of you, you love all of everything else too.
Yeah, but what I'm telling people is, when you hear that, the universal love, the word love, you know, it became a cliche. Everybody's talking about love. They don't know what it is actually about.
Yeah.
Because the universal love is as well the truth. And the truth will hurt you if you're not going inside yourself and listen to your soul and your heart. And this, Jesus demonstrated it as well.
Yeah.
When he threw over the tables of the money exchanges in the temple, you know, he had a temper himself, but it was used for good. So when you have, when Satan came to him and offered him the whole world, but he wanted that Jesus should kneel to him and you know, worship him.
Yeah.
And Jesus just said, "Get out of my way." You know, the truth can't stand up to the negative without any problems. In words, in sentences. You don't need the violence. Use the word as your sword, and it's very powerful. And your energy as well. You have to look the negative in the eye to know what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
If you can do that without emotions and just tell it to go away, and you draw all the negative energy out of it, you know. But if you engage in a fight, you will be drawn into this fight energy, the negativity. That's what they want. This is why we have these riots everywhere. This is exactly what they want.
Have you ever tried, and that's very, very good, Rainer, have you ever tried to be in an argument with someone that does not get riled up, does not get mad, just looks at you? What happens? The argument goes away.
Yeah.
I've done that sometimes with people where they have gotten really, really mad. And I'm looking at them, okay. And they look at me like, you're not going to fight against them? Like, no, I have not. I mean, that is not, it's a gift you're trying to give me, this negativity, and I do not accept it.
Well, I have to work on this a little bit more. I could be sometimes a little aggressive, and I am sometimes in my videos as well. Maybe a little bit too much. Well, I'm still learning. But when I come into discussions like this and I see the other person is not knowing anything, is just being really stupid, and is a kind of almost a little monstrous, you know?
Yeah.
I give him my sword in words.
Yeah.
And then I could leave. It makes him so furious. That, okay, destroy yourself with your energy now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I can be very hard in that way. You know.
And you know what? And so can I on days where I am still battling with some things, because you know, even though many of us have awakened earlier than others, there's still a lot that are waking up. And sometimes you can see someone looking at what we're saying as, oh my God, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. You must be completely about to go into the insane asylum. And I always tell people, well, that all depends if you look at it from a different perspective. And many times the people that definitely are going towards me, and I have many that are beautiful, and I thank you guys, but there are also those people that want to take me up on this, what I'm saying. And I always tell them, well, you might be coming from a third dimensional perspective. And that I understand, then you cannot at all even fathom what we're talking about. You know?
Well, when people tell me that you're completely crazy, what you're telling me, this, when they start like this, that is actually good.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, we crazy people, we have fun, you know.
You want to be part of the group?
Yeah. Because then when they say this, I know that you have seeded something in their head.
Yes. And I love that too, because that means that then they open up. Then there's a part of them, even when they're infuriated because their world picture is changing and they don't want it to change. Yeah. And I love that, because then you know you have sown that seed.
Yeah. That's what I say. We are in a beautiful world, you know. But I won't use much time and energy towards people who don't want to open up, which just are what do you call it? They are just terrible and they're mean to you, and so unknowing. I just leave them behind. I say, come back to me when you know something.
Yeah. You have it.
It makes them even more furious.
Because I have a lot of people that are questioning, and I had one gentleman this morning was questioning. He was questioning this, what we're talking about right now. When we started off with the clones, and he was wondering where we were getting the information from, and I said, well, you know, it's partially the information that we're getting. The information we're coming in, but also when we look at things, and also when we get the videos, right? Because there are a lot of people that are out there that don't know yet, but if they're open to questioning and wanting to know more, and like, where are you getting the information? I said, well, I can't really, I'm reading thousands and thousands of things a day and looking at different perspectives. So I can't really tell you exactly this is the link, because there's so many of them. But I can say that I find something and I go down that rabbit hole. I want to find out the deep. And of course, luckily we have a community right now. Rainer, I'm sure you get a lot of videos just like I do. Many people send me a whole bunch of videos to watch because they have been out looking too, you know, and I'm like, oh, and then they question me and I'm like, well, I can answer some of the things, but I can't answer everything until I have gone down that rabbit hole as well, you know. It's like, I don't want to say anything that I don't know. And that's why we started today with, well, this is what we're watching, this is what we're seeing, but we are not 100% sure exactly what it is yet.
Besides, people should ask themselves, why was it public when they cloned the first sheep? It was in every TV, in every media, in every newspaper, all over the world. Why do they make it public? And then you have to ask yourself, why use a hell of a lot of money on this science? What can it be used for? What is their goal? Why do such unnatural things? So, what is the plan behind it? Just think a little bit outside the box. Yeah. Then you will see that what we are talking about is not far-fetched at all.
No. So yeah, no, and that is something that I sorry, that was a phone. That is something that I remember seeing this. What was the name of that sheep? Was it
Dolly? Dolly.
Dolly, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh my gosh, why do we need that? What is the reason for that? And that's many years ago. Can you imagine all the things that we haven't kept up with? And of course, you know, there's a lot of people that want to live forever.
Yeah.
There's huge science going into that, and there's a huge science in taking your DNA and in a petri dish and I'm thinking, wow, yeah, that's part of it as well, right?
Yeah.
For me, you know, it's so foreign for me because I don't have those thoughts. I have the thoughts of I'm living the life that I'm living right now, and I'm enjoying what I'm, you know, enjoying. Sometimes not enjoying it, but I'm enjoying my life mostly, right? And then think about, you know, cloning myself to do something. I don't know. Maybe I should clone myself to be the housewife. Maybe that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Take care of all the dishes and the garden. Have a gardener have this, have that, and then myself can just relax. Maybe that's an idea. Maybe that's our future.
Who knows?
And did you guys ever see the Jetsons as a child? Do you remember it was, so I grew up here in the US in the 70s. They had this little show called the Jetsons. And I remember in the 70s, they were calling each other over like a TV, they were seeing each other, and they were jumping in this little mobile that flew around in space and came back from the stars and stuff like that. It was and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're almost there,
Yeah. Well, I was always fascinated about science fiction in my youth already. I just loved it. I felt at home when I saw it,
Yeah.
So I wonder where I come from.
I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah. But you see, this coming back to this clone stuff, when people are demonstrating and they just don't know what they are for. Like when you worship Obama and the Clinton administration at that time,
yeah,
and you want them to continue their politics, and you are completely destroyed when they lose, and you want to have it back, you are actually demonstrating for child abortion, for this Planned Parenthood, that they even can kill children after birth, just to have their fetuses to make the vaccines. Alone that, these people have no concept of what they are voting for or what they want.
But do you think those clones are in to make sure that they can control what kind of party is going to be winning?
No. I don't think clones will have any big effect. This is why they are, I think, trying to create more and more artificial intelligence to control these clones better. And Elon Musk, I don't think he's a good guy at all.
Well, you know what? That's what that was. Was that one of those that was cloned as well, right?
Might be. I don't know. But
yeah.
Somebody says he started to work with Trump. Well, I have my doubts, because Trump is playing them in a way.
Oh my goodness, he's playing them in a great way. Oh
Yeah.
yes, oh yes. I take off my hat for him. I mean, oh my God, the way leaking to the media, playing everybody again. I mean, yeah, he's exposing everything.
And suddenly playing into the hands of the elites, and then turning it around a few days later. It's incredible, He makes people confused, but on purpose.
Yes, and some days I'm wondering, does he still have the control? And then I see, oh yes, he does. And then I'm thinking, okay, yeah, he's right now at West Point, as far as we know. the version of him is that I see is at West Point. I don't know anymore.
Well, we can expect quite some turbulences, because the US is going through enormous changes from a corporation into a republic. It's not a republic yet. Not quite yet. Because when it is officially a republic, that means Trump took completely control over it. And that means the whole world will change. First, the US has to be a republic. That means a sovereign state. Then the Russians and the English and the Americans can give the Germans a peace treaty.
Yeah.
Then Germany will be a sovereign nation, and that will change the whole world. Every nation who is still registered as a company will be gone. Every nation will be a sovereign state.
But he has to bankrupt the monetary system first. I think that's really what he has to do first.
Yeah, well, it's on the way.
Yeah, I know. So
helicopter money was fantastic initiation, Yeah. So it will happen quite soon, and it wouldn't surprise me if he really puts the United States under martial law quite soon. Because the negative elites, they don't want that, but they want to create chaos. And just before Trump would call in martial law, they would back up their people. Stop it now. We have created enough chaos, so that because the last thing the elites want is martial law. Because then they're gone. They know it.
Well, and he doesn't really want it either. He doesn't want to put us through that, I believe. But I can feel now more and more people that are pro the Constitution, because really, yes, I am pro Trump because he is pro the Constitution. Okay, I mean, I'm, but many people think I'm only pro Trump because I am completely, no, it is because he is working for bringing back the constitutional rights of every human being here, and of changing the monetary system so that we are more, not that we become communist, that we're all equal, no, but so that the deep state who has taken all our money, now we get to bring that money back to us. Really, that's really what I'm looking forward to. But the thing is that with the Constitution, we have our rights, and they have been taken away, and they're still trying to do this. And so with Trump, what he does is, and I don't know why, but I was feeling that he was going to have some kind of a Trump card come around the end of May. I still don't know what the Trump card is. I'm still, would you know what it is yet? Would you speculate?
I don't know. I think what is being done, like these sealed indictments, a few of them are being released.
Yeah.
And I think very soon all of them will be released, because he took the heads of these bad guys. He took the boss of the Maltese. He died suddenly, 75 years old, and people say he died of a sickness. It's not true. He was completely healthy. All the black nobility has been taken off the scenes. The English royals everywhere around Europe, they don't have the power. The Vatican is down, Washington DC is down, London City is down. The Mossad, Israel, is down. Yeah, because there is coming a new prime minister in, which is a Trumper. He's about the same as Trump, All these changes. But now what he has to do is go after about 10 million people who are in key positions all over the world.
Wow. 10 million people?
10 million people.
You can't do that in 3 months. I'm sorry.
It has to be a big preparation for that. And this is no wonder. This preparation has been going for almost 20 years now. Yeah. So this will be one big swoop. And I'm sure that he has to do it before the election.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're not getting so much of the stimulus anymore like we were. He's not focusing on that right now because he has to focus on taking out the highest people.
Yeah.
The families. I just keep thinking if he just takes out the families, then everything else will fall. But I don't know.
Who do you think funded the Black Lives Matter movement now to start these riots?
Well, Soros was one of them, but he's not the only one.
No, I don't think it was Soros this time.
Wow.
Because I think Soros is dead.
You're right.
It's the Democrats.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They fund it,
Right.
And this is why they want, when they had this stimulus package, they wanted to put in their stuff as well. They needed money, And maybe they got some of it, and the other side is just watching what they're doing with it. That it was everything it was expected. They expect the worst what they can do. They know about it, I'm sure.
Maybe you're right that it wasn't Soros, because I know he's part of the Democrat. I mean, he's been, funding that, but yeah, we've also seen videos where he's not around anymore.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. That probably could be an old story that we're just telling ourselves still. Yeah.
Could be,
I mean, literally what happened last week is old today. Guys, have you noticed the news when we put up news about what happened 2018? Oh, that's 2 years ago. That's already, it's like, what happened yesterday? What happened an hour ago? That's what's being shown now, Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back.
I mean, all this, what is helping this war is the spirituality, the energies which are coming in. This will destroy everything, no matter what, no matter how, but it will.
Well, you can even feel it. If you feel on your body, if you feel like, like there's a tingling sensation, or if you feel that you have maybe a little headache, or the ears are ringing or you're feeling a little nauseous, then you're going up in a different dimension. That's really what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you can sit with that energy and if you can sit with that feeling and thank, or even before going to bed at night, that was something that I would recommend, is that thank for the day and then ask God to come through and clear all negativity from you, so that when you wake up the next morning, you're waking up to, your heart is open and everything.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I do every night.
Yes.
I talk to him upstairs as I tell him, you guys up there, thank you for the day, and tell me what to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm eager what to do. Give me ideas.
Yeah.
So usually happens, you know. I get always ideas in my head, and sometimes I'm so busy, you know, I forget them later on, because I should have made a new video. I didn't have time to do that. And now in the near future, I won't have time to make many videos because I'll be on the road.
I heard that. Tell us a little bit more about that. That's exciting.
Well, the 19th this month, we are traveling from Lillehammer all the way up to Kirkenes, which is about 1,600 miles. And on the way up, we give lectures, people who want to meet us, and the way down as well. And then we take another break for about a week, maybe 10 days, in Lillehammer at my place. And then we travel in the middle of Norway, south and west.
Perfect.
And but I'm sure we have internet on the way somewhere. We can make videos, you know, of the wildlife in our tents and so on. And then we could make a video V2 when I'm on the way, but it has to be a little bit spontaneous, you know. I will send you messages then.
Well, let me know, and I would love to follow you, really. So if you can do that, that would be wonderful, because, you know, your travel and your journey is important for all of us as well, because we can follow you and we can journey with you, you know.
Yeah. Besides, it's a fun time.
Yes. So when you say we, who is we? You and
the other is an old friend of mine, and who is a constitutionalist. He knows everything about the Norwegian constitution, and we were working together before, and then we split because I didn't think the time was right. People didn't want to hear enough of him, because as soon as they hear the law, it's too dry for the people, you know. But now I found a way how we can give lectures. He reads a paragraph, and I give my input.
I love it.
He says what he means about it, and I give my input in a spiritual level, maybe, and so on, you know.
Yeah.
And people are more open now.
Yes, that is true. So they get a little bit of facts, and they get a little bit of beauty as well. I mean, because, you know, sometimes, and I 100% agree on that. We need to feel that there is hope, and that what we are doing and where we are going is a wonderful place, and we all are going there. Just so we have to open up to that, you know, allow it to be. And I think this is great. So well, anyway, yeah, that sounds like a great endeavor you're about to take. That's wonderful.
It's gonna be a test, you know, like we have planned as well, that you come over to Scandinavia. It will be a test drive for me to see what happened, you know, to give me some experience in how to do it better next time, maybe. So we'll see.
Yeah, let's because, like, you know, when I do this in the U.S., it's a difference. I feel in Sweden, I feel that in Norway, that there's a more of a gemütlighet, like there's a more of a intimate setting. And I know that here in the US, it's for people to come, they require a little bit more, but I would love to come over and do the Swedish side then.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's a little bit laid back here, you know. Yeah. But this laid backness has to do with lots of unknowing as well, you know.
Yes.
And the wake up could be I realized it, for some people it can be quite a hard time. I ask now before I talk, do you want me to talk about stuff which could hurt you?
Yeah.
Like Satanism, like child abuse, like things like this, you know.
Yes.
And when people say yes, I saw it as well, that some people could get quite sick, you know, quite shook up. Well, but I doff my head to these people because they agreed to look at it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, that sounds great. Okay, is there anything else you would like to add to what we were talking about today about cloning
No,
and the rest?
not for now. Not for now, actually.
Well, then I say until next time, and next time you might be out on the road at that time. But until next time, I will see you guys soon. My name is Helene Gross, and I'm in the Texas, and Reiner is in Lillehammer. And love you guys. We'll see you later.
Take care.